Am I the asshole for accidentally allowing my fiancé to eat an edible? I used to be a pothead back in college. After being with my then GF, I stopped smoking because she wasn't into it. Now, I bought one of those medicated Nerds Rope edibles. One of those would easily last me a week. The thing is, my fiancé ate an entire one and she's mad at me for not labeling it. The thing is, it's pretty obviously labeled. It says, medicated, and THC. Pretty obviously an edible. It's not my fault that she ate 400 milligrams of THC. I tried to help her through her high, but she's still pissed at me. She said that she felt absolutely terrible and nauseous throughout the 8 hours. She also complained that she didn't want her first high to be like this. I don't know how I'm in the wrong. She ate something clearly marked as an edible, and now she's complaining about me not labeling it enough. Plus she ate my stuff on purpose. So, am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Your fiancé is a grown woman who can read food packaging. You shouldn't need a childproof lock. Not the asshole, who eats something without looking at it first, especially it's in a package. No assholes here. I don't think it's your fault at all, but I understand her reaction. I would hate to feel terrible and nauseous for 8+ hours if it was over something so simple as eating something. Nah. Not your fault, but of course she's annoyed at the confusion. It would be good to keep your pot in a separate place in the house, and tell her where that place is so there can be no confusion. Info. Was it kept separately from other food snacks and not where such things are normally kept? If so, why is she eating a Nerds Rope that wasn't hers without asking? TBD. You are the asshole. If she's not frequently around weed edibles, why would she think to examine the packaging for a clue that it's not just candy? I have never smoked, and the word medicated hidden on a colorful candy wrapper would be meaningless to me. You kept it with normal food and did not warn her adequately, and she ended up getting very sick. I'd be fucking pissed too. Info. Op, can you post a picture of the packaging? I feel like it'll clear up any confusion over just how obvious the THC warnings are. Not the asshole as a weed smoker. It's incredibly obvious when something is medicated. I was totally ready to say you are the asshole from your title, but that was assuming you made it and it was in sarin wrap or something. If it's a professionally sold edible, there are significant other many safety warnings and labels. Not the asshole. The package is clearly labeled, as you said. Also, I have had a few of the Nerd Rope edibles and there is a very distinct and noticeable aftertaste of marijuana. I find it difficult to believe that she ate the entire rope oblivious to that. You are the asshole. Mainly because you kept it in the fridge next to other non-medicated Nerd Ropes. You should have given a heads up. I read packaging as well, but if I'm accustomed to things being one way, I'm not going to assume it of nowhere that something has THC. It's really easy to say, my bad, I should have given you a heads up, I'll try not to mix it with other foods so much. Nah, it's not at all your fault she ate it and it was properly marked. However, I can see why she is upset. It would suck to feel like that for 8 hours. I think you can apologize and just let her know next time if something is an edible. And she can also admit it wasn't necessarily your fault she ate it, as it was marked with THC and medicated. Not the asshole. The one and only time I ate an edible, I ate 500 milligrams. It was totally user error. I just straight up didn't read the packaging. It would be one thing if you purposefully tried to hide that it was an edible. But you didn't. 500 milligrams was a very uncomfortable high, and so I sympathize with your fiancé lol. But it sounds like just a mistake on her part. Not the asshole. Everyone is saying she shouldn't have ate it if it wasn't hers, but she's your fiancé. I feel like she should be able to eat a piece of candy in your house without permission. Nonetheless, this is all her fault for not paying attention to the packaging or reading. I've never had an edible that didn't taste kinda funny. How the hell did she get through the whole thing without noticing something was wrong? Not the asshole she didn't look, or ask. Even if you had wrote on it, she probably wouldn't have seen it since she didn't even really look at the package. You tried to help her through it, that's all you can really do. Not the asshole. I've had those medicated Nerd Ropes too, and it's pretty obvious that it tastes very different from the real thing, since THC extract is very hard to hide. I would have known the instant it entered my mouth, maybe even before due to smell, and she chose to eat the whole thing. Didn't even once thought, this tastes weird, although I do feel bad for her, since 400 milligrams of THC would even hit me pretty hard. Not the asshole. I've seen those and they're clearly labeled. Also, don't eat something that's not yours. Not the asshole. I'd say it's reasonable for her to be upset at the situation because having a bad high, especially from edibles, can be extremely unsettling for some people. I'd say it was clearly an unfortunate accident as it was labeled, and you didn't foresee her eating it all. You'd be in wrong had you left it out intentionally or removed the labels or something, or if you let her suffer through the high, but it seems like you're not at fault here. Maybe from now on though, keep your edibles and such more clearly labeled. I'd also advise having a conversation about it so this won't happen again. NTA. At all. Like I get why she's upset. I've overdosed on my husband's pot cookies before. Who puts 450 in one tiny thing? And it is absolutely miserable. But every single edible you bug in stores says THC or CBD on it, or has pot leaves or big, not for children, or a whole host of other warnings. You'd have to be literally blind or willfully ignorant to eat one accidentally. But for your relationship, you should probably say something like, I am sorry you ate my edibles and got high. It must have been a terrible experience. Quote, you are the asshole. The packaging for edibles looks extremely similar to that of regular snacks, and you can't blame her for not thoroughly inspecting the packaging of something stored in a mix of regular food. It really takes nothing at all to give a heads up that a very strong edible is in the fridge, especially to someone who has never had an edible before. NTA, she shouldn't have even it if it wasn't hers. Or she should have at least read what it said. Sounds like she intentionally tried to eat your food as a joke, and then got mad when it backfired. In the words of Last Decade, scammer get scammed. Not the asshole. And honestly, dump him. These are red flag in whole, and you need to be careful. If he will blame you for this, what won't he blame you for? Edit. Misread post saw op as the guy in the relationship. Nah. She shouldn't be eating other people's food without asking first. And the entire box to boot. As for you, what are you expecting? It's nerds. Who reads the packaging on a box of nerds before eating them? You could have given her a heads up that you'd bought edibles.